Coming up on Watch Fox News at 10.
I noticed some things in there that I didn't know about before.
New details about a riot at the Department of Juvenile Justice we first told you about several months ago. What we're learning has decision makers in this state looking for more answers. Plus, new developments about the Richland County penny tax. County leaders are now drawing a target on the state officials questioning the controversial program. We'll explain.
A few severe thunderstorms popping up this afternoon across the Midlands. We'll take a look at when these storms will be completely out of our area.
We'll help anywhere in the state of South Carolina if we can.
The Midlands Gives, the annual fundraising blitz, gives anyone the chance to make a major difference. And now it's going into overtime. We have the latest.
My reaction is probably like anybody else. Just a quick burst of anger, disbelief.
A Midlands man robbed of his life's work. Now a community is doing what it can to get it back. The news at 10 starts right now.
Live from the Watch Fox studios, this is Watch Fox News at 10.
We begin tonight with breaking news in the 2016 presidential race. This is a live look now from Trump Towers. Ted Cruz is out and Donald Trump is the presumptive winner of the Republican nomination. And that has all played out in just the last 90 minutes after a crushing loss in Indiana tonight. Ted Cruz suspending his campaign. Good evening. I'm Janet Parker.
And I'm Brian McConkey. Now Donald Trump has a clear path to clinch the GOP nomination. And Democrat Bernie Sanders still alive after a win of his own today. However, the Democratic nomination still Hillary Clinton's to win. Mary Maloney has the very latest.
I would continue on as long as there was a viable path to victory. Tonight, I'm sorry to say, it appears that path has been foreclosed.
Once again, Donald Trump can claim victory, winning the Indiana Republican primary. In Indiana, Ted Cruz pulled out all the stops. He made a deal with John Kasich's campaign to pull out of the state and picked a running mate, Carly Fiorina. Even as voters made their picks for president, Cruz attacked Trump.
And listen, Donald Trump is a serial philanderer, and he boasts about it. This man is a pathological liar. He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies.
The war of words didn't help Cruz sway Indiana voters.
We left it all on the field in Indiana. We gave it everything we've got. But the voters chose another path. We are suspending our campaign.
Sanders, though, struck a chord with Indiana voters, initially locked in a tight race with Clinton.
That the ideas that we are fighting for are the ideas of the future of America and the future of the Democratic Party.
But Clinton is dominating the delegate race and has urged her party to unite. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
New developments now about the embattled Richland County penny tax.
County council members say they are willing to take the State Department of Revenue to court in the continuing dispute over that transportation tax program. Now, that news came during tonight's council meeting just a couple hours ago. The tax program has been under the microscope for about a year now. State revenue officials say they found possible corruption and possible fraud in how the penny tax program is being carried out. Now, the agency handed its findings over to SLED several months ago. Then just last week, revenue officials informed the county they're withholding penny tax revenues until the county can ensure penny tax dollars are spent only on specific transportation projects. County council members question whether the state has the authority to hold on to that money.
Well, it's in our attorney's hands now. We're going to, we've got a letter that we're going to send back to DOR, which talks about our position, and we're going to take those steps necessary to make sure we protect the taxpayers.
Now, Councilman Seth Rose is the only member of Richland County Council who voted against taking legal action against the state. He says the matter can be resolved outside a courtroom.
Well, in the last hour, the State Department of Revenue sent this statement to Watch Fox News about Council's decision tonight. They say, quote, "It is unfortunate that rather than comply with state law, Council is choosing to expend additional tax dollars to preserve a structure containing millions of dollars of potential fraud, waste, and abuse."
Switching our attention now to the weather department, a thunderstorm watch in the Midlands was lifted about an hour ago and, of course, causes some anxious moments across the Midlands. So what's up next?
That's the question tonight, Dana Fulton in the Skywatch Weather Center tracking the very latest and what's next. Dana?
Guys, the good news is as we move through this evening, things are starting to dry up and clear up. Our current radar right now really only showing activity towards that southeast corner of the Midlands. If you take a closer look, you can see what is on tap as we move through the next few hours. Actually, we're going to step out to look across the southeast right now. You still see that thunderstorm watch or severe thunderstorm watch up towards North Carolina as well as down in portions of Georgia. But for us in South Carolina, we are starting to calm down. We picked up a little bit of rain today with some of those thunderstorms getting heavier down spurts or down moments across our area. But right now, things like I mentioned, starting to calm down. Taking out our Skywatch WeatherBug network, temperatures bouncing around near 70 degrees, 67 though right now in Saluda, picking up over a half an inch in that area of the woods. But tomorrow, expecting some sunshine for your Wednesday. And throughout the rest of the week, we're going to have a nice end of the week for this first full week of May, but I'll talk more about your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Well, the latest now on a Department of Juvenile Justice riot we've been telling you about for months. Watch Fox News has uncovered new information in that case.
Now, the details we've found about that night have been eye-opening. Fires set at the facility, guards attacked, and an escape. What we learned today led state lawmakers, or what we learned months ago actually, led state lawmakers to launch an investigation. Now we are finding out even more. Tara Pettit has been following this story for many months now. She's live in the studio with details you will see only here.
Brian Janet, Watch Fox News has obtained 20 pages of reports written by DJJ officers who handled that riot back on February 26th. Those reports reveal details that have never been mentioned publicly. One of the reports details an incident where several male juveniles escaped from their dorms and broke into the female dorms. The reports are filled with expletives we cannot say here on the air, but officers say the male juveniles were determined to get to those girls and have sex with them. Another officer reported that a female juvenile claimed when one of the males held her hands behind her back and tried to sexually assault her. She told the officer she wanted to go home because of what happened. Several officers were also injured that night, and it nearly got worse. Weeks ago, we told you how several juveniles stole an employee's car that night. The written reports we now have say officers feared for their lives because they heard the teens in that car yelling that they were going to run them over. A campus drug dispensary was also raided that night. According to one report, almost 90 pills of various medications were stolen. Lawmakers who have been looking into the issues at the agency say these new details Watch Fox News uncovered today give them reason to ask agency leaders much more serious questions.
I noticed some things in there that I didn't know about before. You know, some of it seems a little more serious than what I had read before. You know, about some medication that was missing and things that nobody's bothered to tell us before. So I'll be interested to ask more questions when we do get them back in front of us. And, you know, maybe we haven't asked the right questions. So maybe now that we have some more information, we'll be able to ask more questions and, you know, get more detailed answers. You know, I hope they'll be forthcoming with when we do ask the questions.
In March, DJJ's attorney of 32 years was fired, and now Larry Vanderbilt is suing the department. In the lawsuit, he claims he was fired for providing certain testimony to one of the committees investigating. I spoke with his lawyer today, who says there is a lot being swept under the rug here, and the agency will have to explain. Lawmakers have had several hearings about DJJ in the last 6 weeks or so. No date has been set for another hearing. But for more details on what is in Watch Fox's exclusive DJJ incident reports, head to our website at wach.com. Live in studio, Tara Pettit, Watch Fox News.
Thank you, Tara. Well, since Watch Fox News started looking into DJJ, 5 juveniles have been arrested and charged as adults in that February 26th riot. A panel of House lawmakers has heard testimony from DJJ Director Sylvia Murray and a guard who says the department is in crisis and gangs are in control. A deputy director has stepped down. The governor has also visited DJJ and says she has made changes at the agency, including firing some security personnel.
New details now about the future of the so-called bathroom bill in this state. Today, a last-ditch effort to keep that measure alive in the state Senate ran right into a brick wall. This afternoon, Upstate Senator Lee Bright tried to introduce a proviso in the state budget that would have kept his proposal alive. Now, the move would have withheld money from any local government that passed an ordinance allowing someone to use a restroom or shower room that is different than the gender listed on their birth certificate. That proposal was quickly ruled out of order. The move effectively kills off debate on this issue this year.
Well, while the conversation may be over at the state level, that's not the case along the Grand Strand. A mother in Horry County is taking some drastic action. We first told you about this last night on Watch Fox News at 10. The Horry County School Board voted to allow transgender students to use the bathroom of the gender with which they identify. Well, one parent isn't waiting for the answers and has pulled her children out of school. She says she doesn't have an issue with transgender students, and if the district took steps to make the bathroom safer, she would consider keeping her children in class.
Maybe have restrooms set that anyone can go into, but not just one main bathroom where there's several kids that can walk in.
Well, a transgender Socastee High School student has been homeschooled since being suspended in October. His family is talking about their options and isn't sure if their son will return for the final month of school. Also making headlines tonight, a Midlands artist robbed. Bob Hickman says someone made off with some very valuable work.
Now he's taken that issue to social media to help find who did it, and people are responding. Our Melanie Barton is live in the studio with the very latest on this. Melanie?
Well, Brian, Janet, artist Bob Hickman has dedicated his life to making art, and in a matter of minutes, it was all taken away from him. Tonight, he's sharing his story, hoping to find out who did it.
On the surveillance video, you can see him just pass our driveway, back in real quick, pop the lock.
This security footage shows what appears to be a Ford Explorer pulling into Bob Hickman's Lexington driveway, then minutes later driving away with his trailer.
My reaction was probably like anybody else. Just a quick burst of anger, disbelief.
Disbelief at not only the loss of the trailer, but what was inside.
Probably this is my favorite painting that I've done.
Bob Hickman is an artist. He paints and sells portraits of wildlife. Hickman used that trailer to store 18 years worth of that artwork. He estimates the work is worth $10,000.
When I look back at my art career, what my art career gave me was a lot of flexibility with my schedule. And it helped me be able to help take care of my son.
Hickman's son has autism. Painting has been a way for him to provide for his family while also spending time at home. But despite years worth of work and memories taken from him, Bob says with faith he can easily overcome it.
So I quickly just prayed, gave the situation over to God, and literally I'm still disappointed. I hate it happened, but I don't have any anger. Over the years, I've just learned that you give these kind of things to God and something good is going to come out of it.
He says the incident has helped him see the good in people. More than 2,000 people have shared his post about the crime on Facebook, trying to help Bob get his art back.
It just warms my heart to know that I've got that many people that will take a little bit of time out of their day to try to help me out.
And to Bob, that is helping him overcome what was taken from him.
Lexington County deputies are investigating what happened here. If you know anything about what happened, you're asked to call the Lexington County Sheriff's Department. Live in the studio, Melanie Barton, Watch Fox News.
Well, still to come tonight, making a difference. The Midlands continues to give tonight. An annual fundraising blitz aimed at making the community a better place is going into overtime. We'll explain.
Plus, it's a common sight in the Low Country, but this gator went a little too far. Video you have to see to believe coming up.
Also on Fox tonight, a big payday for one USC student who hit it big Saturday after the Powerball drawing. He didn't win the big jackpot, but he did reel in $150,000, and that's not so bad. His mother checked the numbers Sunday and ran around the house waking everybody up when she realized they were the winning numbers for that jackpot. Now, the student says he plans to pay off his student loans and take his family on a vacation. Now, the big jackpot for Wednesday's Powerball drawing is $348 million. Also tonight, people who are making sure everyone has clean water to drink took their fight to the State House today. It was South Carolina Clean Drinking Water Day in Columbia. The State Rural Water Association set up the event so industry professionals could meet with lawmakers to talk about ideas tied to the state's water supply. Now, organizers say a day like this is especially important right now, considering the water crisis in Flint, Michigan that has dominated the national headlines for months.
A lot of times our public water infrastructure is underground, so out of sight, out of mind. So this Public Awareness Day is well worth the effort, and there's much that we need to do to accentuate the need for a continued investment in our state's water infrastructure.
Now, today's event was the first ever South Carolina Clean Drinking Water Day at the State House.
Well, right now, there is a major fundraising effort underway to help nonprofits across the state. For the past 23 hours, more than $1 million has been raised for Midlands Gives, and the donations are still pouring in online tonight. The initiative allows everyone to come together and make a real difference in the community, including state and local leaders. This morning, Governor Nikki Haley stopped by Midlands Give headquarters, presenting a check to the 1SC Flood Relief Fund. The annual day of giving also highlights organizations that often go unnoticed and still are in great need. Arcelia Domchek has more.
We had $10 in our checking account, and the daycare needed diapers.
Ayanna White knows the feeling of needing a helping hand all too well.
So it was either bounce a check or contact a family member. Luckily, I did have a family member who was able to loan me some money.
That's why White decided to help people in similar situations. Last year, she founded the Power in Changing nonprofit.
We give diaper packages to low-income families in need. So we do that about once a quarter. And the way we qualify that is if you're a participant on WIC, or if you're experiencing a hardship.
The organization aims to help supply diapers to families in need.
Of course, here's the diapers with books, toys, diaper cream, wipes.
Power in Changing is just one of the almost 400 organizations participating in the Midlands Gives fundraiser. The event at Spirit Communications Park raises money for nonprofits in more than a dozen South Carolina counties.
We're relying heavily on public donations, things like Midlands Gives, to try to get more diapers or more products.
The local online giving challenge raised more than $1.5 million in 2015. This year, organizers expect to exceed that number.
When you think about all these people coming together to lift up our organizations, it makes me so proud to be a part of this community.
We're very small, we're a small nonprofit, so to have a day that just brings awareness to the need and just a day of giving is huge for us.
We want to empower families from the bottom up. We're trying to give families the opportunity to think about other things instead of stressing about basic needs.
Empowering a community, one donation at a time. In Columbia, Shirley Domchek, Watch Fox News.
Now, due to some technical hiccups online today, Midlands Gives has been extended to tomorrow at noon. That means more time to donate this year. If you want to contribute to the cause and help organizations, you can click on this link on our website at wach.com to learn more. I'll stay with us. There's much more ahead tonight, including violent protests. We've seen them break out in several states during the presidential race, but do they help or hurt the candidates?
Yeah, most of us probably couldn't dream of life without a smartphone, right? But some people admit it's a little more serious than that. We'll explain later on in your Health Watch.
Finally starting to calm down after some thunderstorms this afternoon. Temperatures around the state near 70 degrees, and tomorrow looking to be pretty lovely. I'll have your full forecast right after the break.
Well, military police from South Carolina will join national forces to operate Guantanamo Bay. 100 soldiers will prepare for possible deployment in October. It will be the first time a South Carolina National Guard unit has been sent to the military prison holding about 80 suspected terrorists. President Obama has vowed to close the prison. Governor Nikki Haley has criticized the idea of transferring detainees to a Navy brig outside of Charleston. Also making national headlines, 6 of the 8 family members killed in Ohio last month laid to rest. The funerals for the other 2 victims happened last week. The Roden family was killed in execution-style shootings at 4 locations on April 22nd. Investigators found marijuana grow operations at 3 of the crime scenes, but aren't saying if the drugs had anything to do with the shootings. So far, there are no arrests and no suspects have been named.
Making international headlines, a 6-month-old girl is being called a miracle baby tonight. She was trapped for 80 hours under a collapsed building in Nairobi. A military search and rescue team found the infant by using specialized equipment that detects breathing. Officials say her positioning apparently helped her survive that collapse. At least 23 other people died in that incident. The baby was treated at a hospital and is now home with her father. On the political watch, it's certainly hard not to notice that campaign events have become a magnet for protesters lately. Passions have run high, there have been acts of violence, and the anger pointed at candidates from both sides.
So the question, is this just the beginning, and what effect is this having on the race for the White House? Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman shows us.
We love Trump! We love Trump!
The back and forth from demonstrators has lately become much louder than from the actual candidates. It's something they can't ignore.
We're seeing violence at political rallies.
And sometimes even engage.
It began with one of the lead protesters cursing at me and yelling at me.
The amount of violence has been limited. The problem is that it is somewhat novel, and it's also not being tamped down by elites.
Right or wrong, John Samples of the Cato Institute says Donald Trump's positions have brought out a loud chorus of both critics and fans who are clashing at times physically.
We don't want to slide down a slope where that kind of thing becomes normal, particularly in a time when people are highly polarized.
Especially, he points out, still 6 months from Election Day.
People were burning the American flag. I don't want them burning the American flag.
Compared to the massive Tea Party rallies of 2008 and 9, these protests are more physical and Samples says possibly more effective for, above all, Donald Trump, keeping him in the headlines and furthering his outsider populist message.
Essentially by saying things that aren't supposed to be said. If he continues to do that, we'll probably see more protests. We may even see much larger ones.
And Samples predicts we could see much larger protests this July in Cleveland for the Republican National Convention, unless the rhetoric from candidates recedes a bit in the next couple of months. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
Well, still to come tonight, boot camp after a baby. Dropping weight after pregnancy certainly isn't easy, but a new program is helping new moms do much more than that. We'll explain in your Health Watch.
And a new addiction that could have your teen hooked. That's straight ahead. On the Health Watch tonight, a recent study shows nearly a third of antibiotic prescriptions in the U.S. are unnecessary. It's the most in-depth study yet of the use and misuse of antibiotics. The study looked at prescriptions from doctors' offices, ERs, and hospital-based clinics from 2010 to 2011. The results mean about 47 million unnecessary prescriptions are written each year in the U.S. Most of them are for conditions that don't respond to antibiotics, such as viral illnesses.
Oh, a lot of us probably don't know what we do without our smartphones, but a new study shows some of us might actually be addicted to them. More than half of teenagers admit they are addicted to their phones. Common Sense Media conducted this poll. Almost 80% of teens said they check their phones hourly. Another 72% said they felt the need to immediately respond to texts and social networking messages.
Well, losing baby weight can be a challenge for new mothers. Many are sleep deprived and navigating the world of raising a new child.
Well, tonight we introduce you to a fitness program that's not only helping moms get fit, but bond with their babies too. Megan Coleman has more from New York.
Bopping to the beat.
Grab the kiddos if you want to.
With babies in tow.
Good job, mamas.
These new moms are on a mission.
And
finding their fitness stride.
I did.
After having a baby and working hard to get their pre-baby body back.
For me, it was like I knew my body might be different. You know, it wasn't so much about going back to how it used to be because I had her. Like, my body's gonna be different.
30 seconds and we're switching.
Sarah King joined baby boot camp when her daughter Katarina was just 3 months old. She loves pushing toward her goal with her daughter at her side.
It makes me feel good. It makes me happier. It makes me more patient with her because being a mom is hard. Yep.
So a mat and 2 sets of hand weights.
So basically, we take away all those excuses. I can't get a babysitter.
Heading up the group is owner and lead instructor Nadia Khan.
After 10 of these, we're going to do lunges.
Catering her classes not only to new moms and those with older children, but to pregnant women as well. Building in a total body workout while making time for those all-important mommy duties.
If you need to go sit down and nurse your baby or change a diaper or something like that, all that is expected and welcome here.
From using their babies as weights to squatting with weights while their babies play, it's clear these women are literally juggling it all, working at their own pace to get fit and incorporating their little ones into their routine.
For some people it's easier than others. You see those moms that snap back and some people have more trouble.
And And from baby boot camp to stroll fit, these moms are finding creative ways to take care of mommy and baby at the same time.
We'll line them up maybe in 2 lines, and we'll do walking lunges up and tickle their toes and back pedal back. And then we get to move a lot too. So we'll grab the strollers and we'll go for jogs or power walks or runs, or it's just so much fun.
My little monkey's jumping on the bed.
Popping their kids in strollers to boost their heart rate, perfecting their planks to develop their core strength, all while finding a little burst of love right there to keep them going.
It's great bonding time for us. It's great socialization for her. I don't have to feel guilty about leaving her somewhere, and she gets to be part of it.
Squat by squat, lunge by lunge, these women are working hard to get fit. After all, it took them 9 months to grow these beautiful babies, and it'll take time for their bodies to bounce back.
It's not always going to be overnight. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer than you want, but there's no reason not to jump in and try. There's really nothing holding you back.
And babies are very impressionable at that age.
I could
so
tell.
They can learn fitness very early.
They were trying some of the movements.
Just do a little push-ups there.
Push-ups. It looked like they were trying a little yoga movement as well.
Why not?
So, well, if they had anything like that around here, it might be a good day to move it outside.
That's true.
Over the next couple of days.
True.
There's going to be a little shiny thing in the sky, is there not, Dana Fulton?
We're talking about shiny things tonight, apparently. Today was definitely a good day to stay indoors. The good news for your Wednesday, though, plenty of sunshine coming into our forecast. We're going to take a look at the rest of the week right after the break.